to FaZe against Pain Gaming. Now, they ended up winning that 6-2, but it's worth noting, that's for sure.
All right, map bans. Now let's put that on the screen and see where we'll play. Coastline and Clubhouse will both be banned out here by default, bringing our pool down to 5, and then Bank will be the first one to get banned, so we won't see it again. Border, Villa, and last one will be Consulate, which leaves us with Oregon. And for me, this is a strong map for FaZe Clan.
Oh yeah, I would be absolutely shaking in my boots if I were T1 right now. But, I mean, well, a strong map for FaZe Clan. Also, I think a map that everyone's familiar with at this point, and especially in Latin America, it's been a favorite map for a long time.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to see some specific off-standard site defenses. You know, it's been played once by Team 1, and they won it, and the other time where FaZe Clan actually played it, it was a loss.
So in this season, it's actually T1's map. But when we say FaZe Clan really comfortable on this map, when we say T1's got to be you know, a little bit worried about where they're going right now, it's because we're referencing, you know, farther back. You know, FaZe has got a lot of experience on this map. They've got a lot of really big wins under their belt here. Let's take a look at the community vote. Who's going to win it? You guys decide, and wow, not a big surprise there. But
FaZe up, bro.
FaZe up indeed. But
I miss Geo. Every time I would see Geo at DreamHack, like passing by at the stage, like Geo, FaZe up.
You know,
really
the only people I know at LANs that don't do the FaZe up thing are actually like the FaZe players themselves.
Actually, yeah, that's very true.
I'm thinking about it now, and I'm like, everyone does the FaZe up when they see FaZe, but I don't remember FaZe doing FaZe up, and it's always kind of weird when you see it.
All right, we'll head into our ban phase. We'll see which one will. Which operators will go up in the flames and the dust get removed here with Team 1, starting off the bans on Oregon.
So it's their defense. They get to get rid of Ying, and that makes a lot of sense. Ying's a very powerful operator. She wasn't banned at all yesterday, if I recall correctly.
And still wasn't really played.
Yeah, she wasn't banned, and she wasn't played, which caught us both off guard. I mean, it caught everyone off guard, because, you know, Devin was there too. We were all really confused. And seeing her banned here, seeing Glaz banned here, that is more in line with what we're used to.
Yeah, definitely the case. This FaZe Clan will go for their first defender ban. Of course, it's ABBA. Smoke is going to get banned, and that's FaZe Clan doing it. If I don't see Finka being played at least once, I swear to God, you need to get this in play. Because FaZe Clan in Season 7, when she was introduced, were the only team that actually found a few ways to make it happen. Now it's been a bit more of a common thing on, you know, depending on the teams, depending on the maps in Latin America. But no Smoke, no Echo. Lesion is going to be a big pick for the defense, but Finka should be seen.
Yeah, Lesion and Maestro are going to be, I think, the #1 defenders for sites such as Basement. As well, Mira, which managed to sneak by in that ban phase. Kind of surprising, to be honest, that we didn't see a Mira ban. And I think, of course, that's the Smoke ban there. When we were looking at the top 10 played defensive operators, the reason Smoke is so high up there at that #1 spot is because he's not banned nearly as much as Mira, who in Latin America is banned 50% of the time.
Astro should be switching to either a Finka or a Twitch in this one.
No, he's been playing Ashe a lot. Yesterday he played Ashe a ton.
He was very well known for that operator, especially back in the days, and Twitch was basically his secondary for a certain. Gohan will go for the Monty. All right, so we'll have double shield being played by FaZe Clan.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
What is that? Double shield and shield.
GDN to Castle. Are they gonna go for?
This is an interesting round already. We haven't even started. So a Montaigne Blitz combination with an unbanned Lion.
Yeah. Here's how I see this. Pinch from construction / tower at the same time as a push from the laundry stairs, and you'll put the Monty from the laundry stairs and the Blitz from the back.
I definitely see the take from construction, though. If it were a construction take, they would have brought a Thermite instead of a Habana.
And that's what I'm saying. They're not gonna put.
You think it's going to be a double?
Yeah, a double. 2 pinching. There will be maybe 2 operators taking control of the tower and construction.
Well, let's see where their spawns are.
Yeah.
Because the spawns are going to tell the story.
Yeah. I wonder what they're going to go for. I'm not sure of the speed at which they're going to go for the execution. You see 3 players spawning in along the junkyard, so...
I believe that's construction. Actually, if this is... It depends on what band it's looking at right now. So yeah, that's construction.
That is construction, so there you go. It makes sense.
We could see it definitely, I think you're right, a pinch. Who knows? It's not going to be a rush, it's going to be a slow play.
Yeah, and Hugsword has the second Black Mirror to set up, and they were waiting for information on the spawns before they set up the second one. Now, seeing as FaZe, pushing in directly to the tower and can spot, or at least hear the shield operators, then information is going to get relayed to Hugsword downstairs, who should have his mirror window set up really, as soon as this push starts to happen, so they can have line of sight of players coming in from the tower.
So we've got that west side roam from FaZe, and sorry, not from FaZe, rather from their opponents, T1. And FaZe themselves are not actually trying to contest that west side roam, so it's effectively not helping, nor is it delaying at all for the defense. And
how many times have we talked about Mav being a strong blitz? He's basically second to only Julio in Latin America.
Yeah, he's definitely a great blitz player. He is usually the one to get himself in the right position. It's something we always talked about. Mav has got that excellent game sense, and you can really utilize that well on a shield, if any operator. So this is a really interesting take from FaZe. We haven't seen them do much of anything. They've got that tower control, and they're just kind of scanning out the situation, seeing what they're dealing with right now. Meanwhile, T1 is trying to fight back here, and GDN's going to put some fire onto Astro in that tower. As the EE1D will force these defenders to stand still, Ion's going to actually be able to stationary get the kill onto Cameraman before Mav refrags onto Ion.
Yeah, he's playing upstairs. Alex will get the second on Gohan Moringa, refragging immediately. So important to get those frag backs because having a shield still available on the attack definitely makes it a lot more complicated for the defense, and at least it's the kill on the Monty, so you can deal with him much easier than the blitz. Panico getting the kill on Moringa as Mav will throw in one smoke grenade to blind in the side. C4 is going to get thrown right in front of his flash shield. He'll take a bit of damage off of it, but nothing really to end his life. Shit! Naster's rotating to the other side. 25 seconds left on the clock. To heal the fire from Panico right here in the stock, make things a bit more complicated. GDN with one. Mav will come in and get the down at least on the Mira, but he's got low health, cannot run and really use his speed to his advantage. They're going to try to bait him in as GDN finds the side and gets the kill on Mav. It's a valiant effort from FaZe Clan, but still, Team 1 very confident in their defense and clean them up. And what do you think was the biggest problem in this attack from FaZe?
The biggest problem to me was that it was so very slow. So you're taken from tower, you don't have a whole lot of presence elsewhere, you're not even taking into account the main lobby. It's a very linear take, and if you're going to execute it, you need to be ferocious and you need to be concise. And that's not what we saw from FaZe. They kind of just lingered on their angles. They scanned out that information. They got it in hand, but they never actually went for the kill. And they couldn't disable the mirror window. That's another thing. I mean, if you're gonna confront a mirror window, and you know you're confronting a mirror window when you're taking from construction, bring a Twitch. Do something that'll help you on that push.
Asher on your team.
Yeah, that's another thing too. We had an Ashe, which is so out of meta right now, and then we also had two shield operators. That was not a great selection of operators for that take.
Yeah, I'm still scratching my head trying to figure out how this would have actually worked. Now, I mentioned at the start, a pinch from two angles. Maybe that was the thing that was needed.
I mean, they did go for that eventually with Astro on the main stairs.
Yeah, with two people left at the end, you didn't have that second shield that would have been a huge force multiplier for you. And you throw away the big advantage that you had there. And the thing is, there was no smoke in here. And that's why we saw that shield play. I think the fact that they kept staying back, as you mentioned, with the fact that there's no smoke, really slowed things down.
And that could be the reason that they went for the strategy that they did.
Yeah.
But, I mean, And then, okay, why not bring a Finka instead of an Ashe, right?
Exactly.
You've got 2 shield operators.
Or a Twitch.
And they super fast ADS now. They can quick scope your opponents. Quite literally, really, no. I mean,
Yeah,
when,
that's very true.
when you're playing a shield operator
God.
and you're going for the ADS, it's a huge risk.
And nano boosted Blitz?
Right, he's vicious. He is absolutely vicious. I mean, it's hard to fight back against it, to be real, because it's such an instant transition. You've got your shield in front of your face, and then you just on and off whenever you want. It's like playing those old arcade game when you got the actual physical gun and it's tied to the actual monitor, and you can go behind the cover and you can pop back up and you can do it as fast as you want. And that's how Finka is when you've got a shield.
There's also actually an arcade game store like not far away from
Really?
here. Yeah.
Oh man, I can't believe I haven't gone yet.
Gotta take it.
Definitely something to do at some point.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. You're right. I mean, that's games I think all of us have had decent chunk of time being put into them, and now you can still do that playing a Finka Blitz.
Yeah. So
thank you very much, Ubisoft, for catering to the old school gamer.
It's weird. It's weird though that we didn't see that. Yeah. And I really have to critique FaZe for their operator selection at this point. And it's weird to say, but at this point, it's getting to be that if you bring an Ashe, it calls into question a lot of decisions you're making because she is just not in the meta. There are so many better decisions, and IQ. Just off the start, an IQ does very similar things. Not all the same, sure, but very similar. And then she's got more in her kit. A Finka, when you're bringing 2 shields, makes so much sense, especially considering the smoke is banned. I mean, there's a lot to say more about it, but it's just, my point here is, it's a preference pick, and I get it, but you have to really frag out to justify bringing an Ashe to this meta.
Yeah, and there's one person that comes to mind in Europe, at least when it comes to big plays on the Ashe. It's a live place for Mocket, where sometimes you'll see target bans against him for the Ashe, but outside of that, Ashe is a very basic operator. It depends on the map that you're playing on. Oregon doesn't have a lot of travel distance on it, so that's why I'm 100% behind you. You're bringing the Ashe on here. You could bring a Zofia, you could bring a Twitch, and in this case, a Finka when there's no smoke, and they would, all 3 of them, be a much better pick.
All of that aside, with just the Ashe, I mean, we're talking about that attack in general, and it wasn't that well coordinated by FaZe. I mean, here's the thing. They were doing a tower construction take. They were doing a slow one, too, not a rush. And the thing that you need most in that kind of take is raw pushing power. And that's the interesting thing, is they had that. They had a Montaigne and a Blitz. So in theory, they've got the perfect kit to make that push, but they just utilized them so poorly.
Would you have pushed the Blitz from construction? If you were doing that same one, would have you swapped positions for those operators?
I probably would have had both my shields come from construction. I maybe would have had, maybe picked a Blackbeard to challenge from the tower stairs. But overall, I would have had a little bit more aggression. I had a little bit more coordination on the actual push. I would have definitely brought a Twitch because you know you're facing a mirror window. I talked about it earlier. That mirror window is almost always there. She made it through the ban phase, kind of confusingly, but yeah, so I would have had a couple of different things going on there, but you know, of course, hindsight's 20/20, so I could run up the perfect strategy to counter what we just witnessed. No problem. But my point here is, I'm just surprised by FaZe that they didn't. You know, they're very well experienced. They know how that take works. It's one of the most linear takes in all of Pro League. It's, you know, it's comparable to, you know, one of the, again, Consulate, Basement. You're taken from the locker hallway. It's the same deal. You're pushing in through 2 lanes, and you know what you need there. You need that raw pushing power. You can do that with a Blitz, you know. You can give yourself that advantage, but you actually have to use it.
Yeah, you can bulldoze your way into the site. You can obviously use the shields to your advantage. You need to have speed of execution, basically blindsiding your opponents on the timing, and that's usually something that FaZe always has in their back pocket, especially in international play. Unfortunately, here in that very first round of our map, did not really go their way, but be setting up to go for the matchup in just a second. As there we go, we're supposed to go into it right. There we go, we're in it. I'll remind you that our bands are Ying, Glaz, Smoke, and Echo. As we'll have everything viewed up here as the dock has been shown. The Trench Medic, I love the skin. I think it looks great. Harks back to World War I.
Yeah. No, honestly,
Chapkin.
what? Oh, that's weird. Speaking of elite skins, the change from one to another, according to iBlacks. I don't know if he's gonna lock it in, but
Yeah.
wow.
Vimple.
Okay. Well, if I'm go ahead and theorize here, it's probably just to counter the shield play. You know, trying to slow down that aggressive push. As much as we critiqued FaZe for the lack of aggression in the previous round, they did bring a lot of shields, and that can be intimidating no matter who you are.
Yeah, and the fact that now they combo the Legion plus the Capcan, that'll make things very complicated for the shield player for FaZe, and of course, that is Mav. Astro yet again bringing the Ashe, and we'll see how we call that into question.
I don't know. I mean, I don't. It's preference, you know, and preference at times can work for you when you've got a really skilled player. Yesterday, we saw Nesk bring a lot of Ashe when he was playing, I believe, against it was Nip, and they drew that match. But Nesk individually played out of his mind, and he really fragged on that operator. So we could critique Astro for bringing Ashe. We could say, yeah, he's not in meta, but we have to wait and see what Astro can do with the operator first, because it's possible that he really drops those bombs and gets those kills and gives his team an advantage.
Yeah, that is for sure. Now we saw the Jaeger setting up in that attic, so I'll have some extra angle to play with. It's a very strong position to be in, so ADSs will be set near him. Now Moringa waiting for a possible quick peek or rotation here. The Capcan, I assume they have spotted him out. This is a bedroom defense, so making sure that your shield is alive for a final push. I wonder if they're going to go via the closet or going in from the main hallway.
Either a viable strategy, that's for sure, but they still have plenty of time to decide. And it looks like their main focus right now, or at least FaZe's main focus, is going to be taking that tower. Who oNe is playing up here. He's got his alibi set up. You can see 3 at the top of this tower. It's some heavy dedication there from one operator. iBlacks will get Moringa elsewhere. That's Habana, the singular hard destructor in this round, no longer able to open up those reinforced walls. So very big kill there from iBlacks, the Capcan.
Yeah, on its own, this makes it so your options are basically coming from the windows or coming from the main hallway, and all of them are very difficult to actually execute. Ion getting the kill on cameraman. He's trying to rappel up into the tower. Checking an extra Prisma, just picking it up off the side. And they'll be using it to really delay things on the attack. With only 3 players alive, Mav will step into a Goomine. Astro finally comes in, picks up Diffuser off the floor. You know what? iBlacks is still alive, and he's still got 2 EDDs in the back pocket, which is something I kind of question.
Yeah, definitely some inefficient placing of those traps, but he has been fragging out. Now, as I say that, he's going to lose the fight to Astro. He did light up Astro and Mav both, so some damage done, but not sure if it's going to be worth it. The player inside of Attic is going to establish a crossfire onto Mav, who is going for the ADS, and it's a dangerous fight, that's for sure. With so little HP, 1 bullet from that Jaeger is going to see the down, possibly even the kill on this shield operator. Smokes to try and disable the crossfire. Astro will be fighting these Attic players. There are 2 defenders in Attic, and Mav is going to down one of them. Astro will finish off GDN, and Ion able to get the refrag. From the top of White Stairs, Gohan will get his own down onto Hugzord and finally finish that off, but Panico with the double kill, locking out Gohan and Astro both. The Legion in the perfect position to get that round in his team's favor. T1, 2 in a row, really favoring their defense.
And the Goomine perfectly set. Now, oftentimes we'll talk about the angles that you need to hold as a defender on this site, but you kind of have to contest those as well as an attacker, and that's why the Blackbeard was brought to sit on the White Stairs. Unfortunately, there were many Goomines in their way, and because of the slowness of the execution from FaZe Clan, it meant that if they wanted to have a chance to actually win this round out, the Blackbeard had to eat that Goomine damage to hold the angle into the bunks.
Yeah, and it's really painful to step on so many traps at once, and that really was a great round from the Legion, that's for sure. There was also the cap cans, like you said, and overall it's just the traps meta really working out for the defense there and slowing down that FaZe attack.
Yeah, traps definitely do have a big effect on many attackers, and that's why you see a huge pick rate of IQ, which leads into this round where FaZe Clan are finally bringing the IQ on Mav. They kind of forced themselves into the blitz for a couple of rounds that didn't work out, but we'll have a tower defense with Team One bringing a bit more of a standard lineup with Ion on that Bandit. Will remind you, if you're not seeing any smoke, it's because he's banned. It's not a usual thing, but definitely not been exploited as much as it could be.
I want to say it's about 8% for Latin America, and after this match it should be a little bit higher, but yeah, it doesn't commonly get banned. Now, this is kind of interesting. We've got a tower defense instead of a kitchen defense for the third site from T1. Both sites are, I'd say, equally viable, or considered equally viable by many teams in the Pro League, but each team has their own preference between tower or kitchen, and in this case we're just seeing T1 with the slightly less common preference. After winning 2 sites, of course, if you're not familiar, we did have a rule change for this season as compared to the last. You now have to win 3 defensive sites to go rotate back to the first. So you win basement, you win top floor, you still can't go to those 2 until you get another site. Or go on to another site. You don't have to win it.
Yeah, you only have to play 2 other sites.
It's just one more site than as opposed to
you have to play 2. You don't have to win both of them. Just playing them after you win the very first one.
Although, from what we've been seeing so far in this match, it's likely that T1 are going to get the win. Their defenses have been stalwart, and on the other hand, FaZe's attacks have seemed a little hesitant to really bite in.
Which is an odd thing, because Oregon, with the fact that usually Mira is banned, tends to lead itself a bit more towards the attackers. But the lineup has not been too efficient from FaZe Clan, as Team One are definitely playing their advantage. And Hugzord, of course, bringing the Mira here. Tower offers a few spots with the Mira. It's not the best site to be using her.
It's kind of odd, yeah. Now, I would say there's a lot of other operators you can bring on this site to aid your defense more directly. There are some interesting spots, like you said, like, for example, on the tower stairs facing towards the tower doorway to the east. That's a great spot, and it can really slow down the push-in through this doorway right next to the attackers outside of tower right now.
Yeah, another one where some teams will use it on is the backstage. Just to look down. Some of them will set it even on the opposite side. Oh, there you go. The second one is a soft window here.
Interesting.
That they have along the attic. So they'll have some line of sight. Ion peeking in along the outside. Not going to find anything. The call is going to come in from Gohan Stokaby to combo with the E1D, as the calls will get shut down for a second. Mav still scaling the top of the tower.
It's a slow take here from FaZe. Only 40 seconds left, still a 10-man alive game. And GDN feeling the pressure as the attackers repelling on his windows, looking to get the top of tower control. So he's playing it slow, and he's playing it safe. As he peeks around, he's going to expose himself to Gohan, who's also eating some bullets from below. Astro gets eye blacks, but Ion able to refrag onto Gohan. That slow repel really working against him. Mav will get Ion, but tower control, oh wow, lost for the attackers as Hugzord inexplicably wins the fight against Mav just above him. All the while, though, the diffuser has been planted just inside of the meeting hall door. And now the last 2 T1 defenders will have to retake on 2 very odd angles to get this round win. Hugzord looking for the Ash, and he will find him. Astro eliminated. Panico opening the walls in the meeting hall. He's going to look at those long angles, but Hugzord finished off by Moringa, leaving Panico in a 1v2. He's got the gun and the ammunition for it, but only 1 bullet right now, and he's going to have to go for a reload or possibly just a stick. It looks like he's going to stick the defuse, and he's just going for it, but it's not going to happen. Moringa ready to receive him, and Panico finally eliminated. Good coordination there from FaZe, allowing for the plant just inside that meeting hall door.
Yeah, that was an attempted retake, but at the end, we come back to the same point of view in tower. Tower, I like to compare it to bathroom tellers if you're on border. It's all about holding outside of the site, because the instant you lose map control, you basically lose the site. it's so difficult to retake this site once the plant has gone down, because more often than not, the angles that are held by the attackers require you to be very, very ballsy on your peaks or gets placed from the last remaining defenders. Once the diffuser is planted, your chances to retake are going down so low. So you have to defend outside of the tower, then have it at the really your last part of the defense, and that's why holding out top of the tower, the third level, is so important for the defenders, and that's why you even saw a shield that was set up for the Jaeger upstairs. Unfortunately, got taken out pretty much immediately.
Yeah, and holding outside the site on tower, that's what makes it such a difficult site to hold, because you can't hold outside the site for the most part. There is nothing to hold in, so you've got meeting hall. And it puts all the emphasis on that, because you're right, you still do have to be outside of tower itself. You cannot just anchor in tower. But then, yeah, all the pressure on meeting hall means as soon as you lose the meeting hall as the defenders, that pressure really starts to mount up, and it becomes really too much for the structure of your defense to hold, and usually you'll see then a complete collapse. And that's exactly what we just witnessed there. Good attack from FaZe Clan. That was the first round they've ever managed to eke out, though, and it was just that. It was a fair win, a 1v2 in the end there, and I was almost expecting a clutch from Team 1, considering how FaZe has been playing. The reason they managed to get that win, or FaZe specifically, is it was an odd site. That's really what you can chalk it up to. Now T1 are able to go back to their more common sites, and we'll see if that continues, where they're really formidable on the defense.
So there's nobody to contest on the tower here for Team 1, so the Lion will have an easy time to take control of that, and then from then on, possibly go up to the roof, and then have a line of sight into the bedrooms, just in case, and Gohan and getting the first kill on the Legion. That is a huge frag early on at the 2-minute and 10-second mark. Just Gohan's coming in as information was really the Mira moving in downstairs. Gohan aiming in, cannot find her. Obviously, she's all the way down in laundry, and that is a bit of a trickery kind of thing. You get so tunnel visioned with the E1D. Oh, I see, there's an outline, and then you start shooting into it, and it's actually a full blow.
Yeah, it does have a lot to do with perspective, and sometimes it's hard to tell because of the sporadic nature, or not really sporadic, but the spastic nature of those outlines, where they kind of, they just go, they're kind of wavy, and they're not really exact, and it's, yeah, sometimes it can be difficult to really determine exactly what you're looking at. But
I mean, that's a good thing. In my mind, that's a good thing.
I don't think they should change that. Please don't change that. But look at this angle that's been established here by the sledge in the master bedroom. Opening up those floorboards, he will now be able to see through the drop down. There's even an nade you can hit there that will get the player on the Mira, potentially do a lot of damage and completely funk the defense and prevent them from denying your defused plant. This is an interesting retake attempt into meeting hall from T1. You can see they're applying a lot of pressure, and there doesn't seem to be a flank hold right now for the attackers. They had control over meeting hall. They forfeited it, though, and now they're just focusing on that take into the actual laundry.
Yeah, Ion upstairs, just waiting for the flank. As cameraman will get one more, taking him out before he can do too much damage to the backside of FaZe Clan. And a very sneaky plant here. Hugzord cannot find the angle as Astro will take him out on the Ash. Panic was still upstairs on the Valkyrie. Will finish off Astros, gets shot from the side. Immediate reaction here by FaZe Clan as GTN's the last alive, but not for long. Moringa will finish him off with the Bearing 9, and that's FaZe Clan to put the second round on the board.
So they're starting to get these wins in order, and it all comes down to them going for a much more typical take there into the main lobby instead of trying to force out a construction tower take. You know, we've always talked about it. The construction tower take really isn't that great. It very, very rarely actually works. And now that FaZe is going for what you know is more in line with the meta, they managed to get another win and even things out 2-2. They will now be attacking again onto the basement. T1 not making any rotations here.
Yeah, of course, their final round here on the attack, FaZe Clan. And we'll see if they switch away to another op. Astro's still on the Ash, at least for now. Of course, the IQ being played up by Mav. We've seen how strong she is an operator with how reliant nowadays the defenders are on electronics. And, you know, the Legion, having the Jaeger, having mute jammers, bandit batteries, you know, echo drone.
Yeah.
You'll have Evil Eye. So much requiring an IQ.
Yeah, when you are playing against a heavy electronic defense like what we have in the current meta, and you don't bring an IQ, it's like trying to cut through the jungle brush without a machete, and it can be exceptionally difficult.
Yeah, welcome to the jungle.
So, T1.
Monty.
And Monty yet again. Yes, Monty instead of the Blitz. So we had a round with both Monty and Blitz, and then we had some rounds with Blitz, and now we have a round with Monty. So FaZe really favoring their shields, but we have not seen those shields see success yet, actually.
No, not at all. And a soft mirror window. They're in the meeting hall. A lot of players will set up on the right-hand side with a reinforced wall and a mirror window, and then open up the hatches as well to play with two roamers upstairs. What Team 1 are going to do here is just have one player all the way at the top stairs in the dorms, that maybe rotate off of that. Now, the reason why you see those reinforcements usually being made in the meeting hall is because it allows the defender, even playing all the way up top in the bedroom, to fall back and waste as much time as possible. Which is why I kind of question the soft mirror window, especially if it's set up on the left side and not on the right side. I really want to know what Team 1 are trying to do with this here. Because, you know, if you're going to play with a mirror or any other operator, you can still throw your equipment on the side.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely the wrong side for the mirror window. It's kind of an interesting setup. I don't know if I like it. There's got to be a thought process behind it, of course. But either way, it is what it is. And FaZe are going to meet it with shields and roam hunters. As you can see, Gohan clearing into the top floor. T1 really falling off this roam exceptionally fast. They aren't going to even hold into the west at all, really.
I just fell back, and I wonder if they're going to attempt... Yeah, there we go. They still have two players that are set up in the meeting hall. I assume they're going to fall back into the tower and down to the site. What we saw in the previous round was rotation back up the tower to try and play the flank of the attackers. But if you... This is why Kitchen is so important. If you control the pantry, you can just have one player who's going to stand there the entire end of the round, just waiting for rotations from the meeting hall. And that angle is very difficult to peek, especially if those roamers are running SMGs. They'll have to fight against, more often than not, a rifle from the attackers. It's a difficult thing to get into. But Gohan moving in with the shield. He's got a Habana behind him. He'll go back up. I wonder what FaZe is trying to do with this.
Well, they're being exceptionally slow here. As you can see, the first smoke's actually coming out to deny visual to the defenders, and it will be met with no counter plant utility. Interesting choice. They read that this is a bait, but will they read it the second time around? E1D forces these defenders to stand still. C4 goes out, but it will only get one kill into Moringa. Montaigne unable to die to that, thanks to his shield. It's been a back and forth here, but there are no more smokes for FaZe to use to go for this plant. So we're going to see instead Gohan go for a backwards plant using the shield, but no, he just fakes it out and then starts getting aggressive. There's not a whole lot of time for FaZe to plant in this round. Interesting choices being made. Cameraman will get a pistol kill onto Ion on that flank. E1D, this is the last one of the round, and here come the flashes to try and delay just a little bit more, but the second C4 will deny that plant, and iBlacks with a perfectly timed push will deny further plants. Cameraman will shut down Hugzord, Astro gets VDN, iBlacks at the top of the stairs though, playing time, will win the round. An absolutely insane round there from both teams, and really just, I don't know what to say about that.
Frag hunting.
You really, yeah, I mean, you could say that. I mean, what was that at the end? We had iBlacks on Legion, push main stairs, and Astro. Where are you looking, man? He disabled the mirror window, but then he should have turned around at that point and gotten the Legion. He should have gotten the Legion first, completely exposed, but no, the Legion iBlacks was ignored. I'm so confused.
It'll be fine, Michael.
I'm confused. Don't know.
We'll pass by the ice cream store before we go back home.
Okay. All right, Gasson.
No.
Thanks.
No problem. I'm here for you.
No, but really, that was a weird freaking round.
Confusing. When you have a man advantage, play that player on the flank. That's what they're trying to do. Anyways, you read into that so easily. We saw it from the first 10 seconds, just from the setup itself, before they even started, doing it. And
protect your bombs from being defused by attack.
the round that should have gone the way of the attack, unfortunately didn't work. The smokes were used up way too early before they actually baited out the equipment from the defenders. And there you go. You got no cover to plant at the end. You're going to get pushed.
So for those of you wondering, when you use a smoke to fake out a plant, you also have to go for the plant.
Yeah.
If the defenders don't hear the telltale sound of a defuse being planted, then they're not going to waste their C4 9 times out of 10.
And honestly, here, because of the smokes,
10 seconds to insertion.
I wonder where Gohan had set his Evil Eye, because Evil Eyes can't see through the smokes, and I just wanted to see where he possibly would have set it up there, but you don't really have to stand behind the Monty and plant by the laundry machine. You can go all the way to the side and use that audio cue to bait out the C4 into the Monty, who will take no damage and still be able to plant on the side. It'll be a bit more difficult to hold from the hatch, but it's still doable. You still have a Monty. All of that plays into your advantage.
And another thing, when you're in that situation where you're like a 4v4 or 4v5 or 5v5 or whatever, you've got enough manpower to waste, and you've got 30 seconds left, you only have one set of smokes, it is better to go for an actual plant and, get the C4, catch the C4 and die to the C4, and then follow up and still have smokes to work with than it is to just use your smokes and then not have any when you want to go for a plant.
Yeah, and you mentioned smokes. Smoke is banned here.
Yeah, so no gas canisters.
Yeah, no gas canisters. It slows things down even more for the defenders and makes your Monty even stronger.
Yeah, so despite that, the lack of that, there was still a successful defense from Pain. But all that said and done now, we're on the second half, and Pain were actually the victors of the first half. Very impressive from them. They, of course, or excuse me, did I just say Pain? T1.
Yeah.
T1 were the victors of the first half.
They were bringing the pain, that's for sure.
They were bringing the pain. That's exactly, that's what it was. That's the excuse I'm going with. They're bringing the pain to FaZe and winning that first half, which is, again, surprising, considering they're in 4th place right now, and FaZe are in 2nd.
Grenade is going to get thrown into the back by Ion. Will not do any damage, but at least, scaring off the defenders for just a second. They spot Moringa in that armory. He does have one angle to play with, and he can just look down into the hallway, but iBlack's a beautiful shot of the L85, taking pretty much no damage in this.
And that's one of those fights where you just say flat out, he should have lost that. The iBlack's really on fire right now, and I'm surprised Moringa didn't win the fight, but that's armory control lost for the defenders. Mav trying to contest this tower doorway, and he will also be unsuccessful in that endeavor. Hanako extending the lead for T1, and it's looking like we're going to have a 4-2 situation unless these last 3 defenders from FaZe can do something miraculous.
A bomb has been located.
We'll see the Maestro setting up on the Evil Eyes. Hugzord Dokubi playing by the laundry stairs. We'll chuck in one cast grenade. Now, fortunately, the Maestro can still see through that that smoke just by looking down into the Evil Eye. The C4 will hit, and there you go. Perfectly played. Exactly what I explained afterwards. So you need to get that plant on the side. Unfortunately, the fight's posted a bit more complicated for Team 1 to hold, as we're in a 3v3, and Astro has taken control of the meeting hall. He'll have to get a bit faster here because time starts to run out. He goes upstairs and will try to contest from here as he runs. There we go. On the drone, Ion is going to get taken down. Hugzord is low on health. This might be time for FaZe Clan to go for the defuse, but there's nobody down on the site just yet. Thatcher of iBlacks is still alive, and there you go. They go in for the drop to defuse it, but it took so long for FaZe Clan to realize there's nobody downstairs and we're 3 people. We already took the advantage. Let's jump down and start the defuse. Should have happened before. Always try to stick that one player at the end. Thatcher just runs in from the garage and pistol whips the defender.
That was such a roundabout round, and we've been seeing the same thing throughout this match. Just the most confusing of rounds. The first half made sense, okay? Clearing out those roamers, getting those kills, great. Good job from T1. And then the second half, we had the diffuser planted, a very systematic and well-executed diffuse plant. So again, props to T1. Really good job for them. But then FaZe started fighting back. They started getting their kills. They started seeming like they were, you know, the FaZe that we expect to see. And then they try to get the control, but they cannot. They just can't hack it. They can't establish enough control to get a diffuse disable. And then, it just runs out of time, and T1 able to lock it out, get those final kills. I don't know. It was just the series of events was so confusing in my opinion. And the main thing for me was the lack of denial of the initial plant from FaZe. What's up with that? I mean, they had so many tools to deny that initial plant, but they just didn't.
Unfortunately, even though they had the evil eye, I mean,
he was busy with his phone.
Yeah, and the call was coming in perfectly from the Dokkaebi, but still, you would expect at least somebody to be watching that evil eye there at the end. They could have just looked down through the smoke. You can obviously, as you mentioned before, hear the cue for the plant. And then you see, oh, they're not planting by the stairs, which means they're going to plant in only one location, all the way on the left-hand side. And you can just chuck in a C4 to play against it. These small mistakes at the end there, which is why I think a lot of people watching Latin America go to watch these same teams playing at LAN and just don't understand how they can play so strongly internationally, is because it's so different. It's a metagame that they get themselves into in a certain mindset that when you go to international play, you have to get yourself out of ASAP. You
know what I think it is, really? I think Latin American teams enable other Latin American teams. They're like, yeah, we all want to play the same way. And then once they get to the international stage, they're like, okay, well, we need to change things. We need to be a little bit different. And that's why you see such a, it's such a stark contrast that you can draw between international Latin American play and, well, Latin America on Latin American play. But all that's just, theory crafting, is we're actually here in a Latin America on Latin American match. FaZe versus T1. Let's bring us back to this
Blitz again.
Planet. Yeah, Blitz again. So this is interesting. We saw a lot of Blitz from FaZe, and now we're seeing a lot from T1. This time it's on Panico. Kind of interesting. You give yourself a lot of pushing power, but we have yet to see that pushing power really be utilized by either team.
Yeah, that's true. Now, the fact that Panico is able to come into the hallway and remain uncontested for a bit might be.
Oh, I like this setup.
Yes.
Okay, so the hole here means that it's pretty much impossible for Thermite to plant the charge without being shot.
He can have the shield to protect him from the side.
Yeah, but exactly. There's that shield, that unpenetrable shield that Blitz can use to cover his teammate, although it doesn't look like T1 are actually going to even try. What a interesting decision from T1. They're just going to fall off the master take entirely and instead opt to push seemingly from the west side.
It's over 1:30 being burned, but they don't, Team 1 don't even have bottom floor control. There's nothing that's been done so far except for poking into the site and then falling back. And there is a C4 to be played downstairs from Mav. And instead of bringing a Mira here, you'll see Astro bringing his camera gadget to play with the mute. So they can set that in just in case the smoke causes any problems. Panico at least starts to go in for this cleanup, but it's 33 seconds on the clock. You're so far away from the site. And there you go. The Lion will get a kill on Astro, but Panico will hit 2 goo mines as he pops in an extra smoke nade. Goes in for the hip fire. Cameraman with an easy kill, but he's down on the floor. And just wasting time. You want to go for the kill? That's fine, but Ion Hugzord will get a kill each. Eye blast from below onto Mav. And let's throw strategy out of the window.
And just get frags. What a confusing round. I didn't even get to see all of it because it all happened within the span of 15 freaking seconds. And now FaZe are at best going to get a draw. They cannot win this match. So T1 have already eked out not eked out. Team 1 have already clawed away from FaZe Clan a point no matter what, and they could potentially get 3 if they go one more round over the next couple. Or and actually next few, excuse me.
This is why I'm struggling to find a point to analyze with, because what do you say? FaZe Clan did everything perfectly on the defense in the previous round, except for dying at the end.
Yeah, they couldn't win a single one of their fights. I mean, we did see, of course, the shield go down. So, correction, they won one of their fights. But, and then, you know, they got a couple of kills here and there. But there was always somebody from T1 to refrag on the rush. They always had someone in a position to support. There was never anyone left out in the open, exposed with no recourse. So, an interesting...
Bombs from being defused by attackers.
I say interesting, I don't know. Just really... confusing.
Yeah.
Interesting, yes. Confusing, also, yes. But yeah, there's not much to talk about. It was a brawl. It was a down in the dirt, dirty brawl for both teams.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if Captain Falcon is brought out here at some point.
Attackers have
Add
located
to the
the
brawl.
Oh no! I don't even play those kinds of games. I don't get those references.
I think Ubisoft owns Brawlhalla.
Really?
Just yeah, I think they do. It was like bought out not long ago.
I don't actually know because, like I said, I've never really played. I've never been big on fighting games. How many have you played?
Quite a few back in my day.
No, I imagine. It seems like it'd be something right up your alley. But fighting games aside, we're gonna see more brawls in this game. So we're rebranding Siege. It's now a fighting game. It's
Let me at him! Let me at him!
Yeah.
Basically Panico in
No,
this
but
one. Oh no! Gohan getting the first kill and he gets the second one!
What is going on right now? Aggressive play from
Wait, one
Gohan.
more!
He's 3 frags on the laundry stairs. He's going for 4, but he cannot secure it. The EE1D detects him through the wall. iBlacks and GDN equalizing somewhat, but they need one more to get that even 2-2. Gohan, what a play! And I have to say, a ridiculously dumb one at that, but it still works out for him. No, seriously.
Who pushes laundry stairs with a maestro?
He was pushing laundry stairs. That makes no sense. And he got 3 kills.
I think that's I think that is the point. No one would ever do it. So you know what? I'm gonna do it.
This match is the most confusing I've casted in the last couple weeks.
Yeah,
We've
had a lot of matches.
Yeah, it's way.
And it's still very confusing.
I just can't explain it, man. There's no strategic significance here. There's no reasoning behind, hey, let's push laundry stairs. It's just, hey, I want to fight people. Let me at them. And Gohan fought people and won. And now his team has a very distinct advantage as they defend the bottom floor.
Now they have line of sight here on GDN with the Evil Eye, and Astro has equipment as well to protect him. Can't fall back whenever necessary. But yeah, the last 3, but 2 defenders that are downstairs in the laundry will have an easy time looking through a mirror window each. And information is going to get denied by for the last 2 attackers. There's a lot of time to play with, but honestly, I don't want to count Team 1 out because of the way that they've been... Alright. Alright. What in tarnation is happening here?
Big freaking hole coming right up, right after a missed flashbang. Oh, I wonder what happened there. Oh, maybe he pressed the wrong button. Meanwhile, iBlacks in the meeting hall has a roamer right above him, but both will be oblivious of each other until iBlacks gets the right angle and Astro eliminated. So a good play there from the Lion to check that angle at the right moment. The drop in mean hallway and at laundry is opened up, but it doesn't seem to be the focus of the attackers as they come around to the back. Valkyrie gonna win that. Mav, what a shot onto iBlacks, but he cannot win the second one. GDN with the pistol out, loses to the C4 from Cameraman, and FaZe will win another round. They're managing to make this happen, and that's the first time they've won a defense, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. How? And they start off with a 3K.
It was all, yeah, that basically...
And then suddenly,
I mean,
they're down in numbers. It's a 2v2.
I just don't get it, man. See that push from Gohan. As much as I critique it, that's the sort of thing that's an oversight from T1, and it really should not have worked.
Where's your drone to look into laundry? I mean, minimum. It's one of the first positions you check into because you're not gonna. You know that there's a soft wall as well. They didn't reinforce the wall in at the top of the laundry stairs, looking into garage in the main lobby. So you're like, you know what? Let's just take garage and take lobby, and then from there we continue draw. It's standard, default plays. But no.
Still, though, I mean...
Finka, finally! Oh my god, they actually played Finka! Whoa!
All right, so this is an adaptation from T1. Smoke is banned, but it was FaZe who banned Smoke. So
they never played Finka!
So yeah, we expected Finka to be played by FaZe, but now it's actually T1 to fill that slot. So yeah, good on them to see that opportunity and seize it. Let's see if it works out for them.
Take me out of the oven. I am so done right now.
I think it might be a little bit overcooked, right? As well, just a tad. You know, they're going to be those really crispy kind of cookies.
Crispy plays, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Right. FaZe Clan, yet again, their potential last defense as... Is this a standard play from FaZe? Well, they did actually play their last defense upstairs in a very standard way. It's just the fact that Team 1 was able to run around and get kills, and I think the Finka combos with this perfectly. You don't need a shield, you just need that PKM, Adrenal Surge, and ratatatata everywhere.
Yeah, abso-frickin-lutely. But yeah, I mean, it would be cool to see the Lion again. I mean, he was somewhat useful last time, or sorry, not the Lion. I'm sorry, I'm not sure I'm saying Lion. The Blitz, the Shield again. He was somewhat useful last time. We're not seeing him this time. It would be cool to see a Lion as well, though. But similar to their opponents, T1 are going to choose to force out a Ashe. Interesting choices made by both teams. Now, it looks like we're going to have a master take. The Thermite is poised and ready to open the wall. It might be double reinforced. Yes, indeed it is. But it also appears to be mute jammed. Can't quite tell. Could be mute jammed. Either way, T1 for sure will have a solution to that problem. And that's going to be explosions from below.
And that's why you bring the IQ.
Or the Ashe.
Or the Ashe, or really anybody that can just shoot up. And just, of course, having the... You can do it. You were mentioning this yesterday. I mean, you don't really need an IQ to get this sort of thing done, but obviously it makes it a lot easier to find the utility and break it open. And here we go. Thermite will open up the closet. So far, so standard.
Yep. FaZe have lost control over Master, but they shouldn't contest it in the first place. Usually that's not what you do on this defense. They have the Dorm's top of white crossfire, and that's the most important thing. As long as they can maintain this crossfire between Gohan and Moringa, they will have a fighting chance in the round.
Cameraman now sitting up from below. Zamira has rotated down. Again, mirror windows are not the most important to have on this exact site defense. Gohan will contest. Quick peek into the main hallway. Doesn't find anything. Huxer's on the outside. He still has a second logic bomb to use. So that might be all up to the timing. No adrenal surges so far as iBlax is holding in. He's got some input. There's a Vigil around. Gohan gets one on Ion. Unfortunately, it's a bit too slow here on the adrenal surge. And you see the amount of damage that you can do with this LMG as they all line up. iBlax with 2. Of course, he ADSs like a champ. Very, very fast on it. Moringa will get taken out. Finally, GDN shot down, and iBlax with the last one on Cameraman to secure the 3K with his PKM. And that'll be the end of it. As Team 1 really sift through FaZe Clan yet again, all through kills.
Yeah, it was a nice clear into the master bedroom, and then once they thermited that wall, it was just a slew of kills for T1. You saw FaZe were trying to fight back with some vertical play from below, but they could not make it work.
Yeah, iBlax with 12 kills on the board. 3 of them being put at that final one. That's why we said, you ban the smoke. Hey, when are you going to introduce the Finka? Because she's pretty strong. Use her.
Yeah.
Good operator.
Definitely a really powerful operator in some situations, and especially when you don't have a smoke. But whatever the case, T1 take the win against FaZe against many expectations. I think T1 had a really